Okay, welcome back, meine Tales, Freunde. Wer ist bereit, einen fetten Boss zum Klatschen? Ja, auf jeden Fall ich. So, aber...
Well, we've only one last place to look. Straight ahead.
Almeidrea.
Okay. Wir sind gegen das System, wir gehen bei der anderen Tür raus, was uns das Spiel sagt. Also.
There she is! Almeidrea!
But all alone? Watch yourselves. She's probably planning something.
Ja, ja, das wissen wir eh schon. Ha? Wo ist dein Haustier?
Rather tired of waiting around. Oh my, and I see you came along as well, Danon Witch.
Almeidrea.
What's this? I thought you couldn't stand the sight of me. Go on, little one. Show me the full force of that hatred of yours. Otherwise, run and hide like the rat you are.
That's enough! How can you smile while causing pain to so many others?
That is the way of those who possess great power. The very way we Renans live.
Power.
Those with power set the example, and those without it are forced to obey. Though you two seem to have forgotten that's the way these things work.
And you really think that justifies your actions? You turned all those people into a hollowed sea!
What foolishness. It's only natural that the fate of a slave differ from that of its owner. Very well, I admit I did fan the flames just a tad back in Mies. But it wouldn't have mattered in the slightest if there hadn't been a spark to ignite. Without it, my actions would have been fruitless. Ultimately, it was their very own burning hatred that laid them to waste. To say it was all my fault is simply laying blame at the wrong feet.
No one's perfect. We all have darkness in our hearts. But the atrocities that you've committed, they're unthinkable! Your heart is nothing but darkness!
What a fool! To think time and time again you would challenge Renan authority without so much as an inkling of how things actually work. Such ignorance is why your kind has been enslaved for 300 years.
Almeidrea.
Well, if it isn't Lord Dohalim.
These people are my allies and friends. I won't let you insult them so.
Warenlord. Ist keiner mehr.
Why, what a shock. I never would have expected you to claim mere slaves as your companions. If I didn't know any better, I would question your noble lineage. Oh, how far the mighty have fallen. A traitor such as yourself hardly deserves to be called a lord.
You are nothing compared to Dohalim.
Rinwell.
He would never stand by and laugh. His people hollowed!
Ha! What does it matter? You're descended from those who allowed the power and knowledge entrusted to them to wither away. Your pitiful family may have feared it, but I do not. That knowledge and power is all mine to command. And now, you will witness what that power's truly capable
Let's
of.
okay, ja, wo ist dein...
Mesmald!
Wo ist dein Haustier? Oh, fuck. Was ist denn das schon wieder? Oh Gott, es kann fliegen, es ist sehr groß und... Oh Gott. Na, hallo.
Enjoy your meal!
Ein Glück, dass wir sie haben, ha?
Such sad eyes, child.
184.000 HP. Oh, Schwanz, Kopf. Ja.
Reunite you with your parents.
Na dann.
I'm gonna take you down if it's the very last thing I do!
That's right. Loathe me. Every step brings you closer to being me.
You're wrong! You're wrong! I'm nothing like you!
Raining slap! Easter!
He who prepares
Here.
free from regret.
Raining slap!
Know your
place.
Kannst du da mal rauskommen, ha, von der Ecke? Oh fuck. Nein, ich bin down. Oh fuck, wir sind aber nicht der Einzige, der down ist. Na gut, lass ihn irgendwie ressen, dass wir weniger HP verbrauchen.
Benediction light.
What's she doing now?
She's infusing her beast with more power.
Nein. Okay, ich glaube, wir werden es brauchen, ha? Also echt zart, dass der da, ja, immer in so einer scheiß Ecke steht. Oder fliegt. Bam. Jawohl.
Keep an eye on her and take out the monster first.
She's no stranger to astral arts.
I can take care of that.
Yeah, take it away.
Forgive me. This is my fault. I'm in your debt. Another incantation ruined.
Okay. Lass mal.
I am not beyond fury.
Sleep now.
No further.
I can't heal you forever.
Armor won't save you. Face you. There.
Hey, that
Behold. The earth.
Einmal der Dschungel.
Tectonic vision.
I'll be ready.
Denied!
That looks bad.
Wits about you, people!
Oh fuck.
The winds of judgment blow
Oh fuck, ich hab die falsche Taste gerade gedrückt.
calamity!
So that's the trick up her sleeve.
Your astral arts aren't so special. And now, you're mine.
Benediction light.
Bring you back from death's abyss.
Benediction light.
Resuscitation. Glacial fear. Here's evil.
Heal. Try harder.
I'll bring you back from death's abyss. I can handle it.
Lieber nicht.
Stay away from my friend. No. Can't end here. It's in your hands now.
Fuck.
This should do it. Try harder.
Okay, ich habe irgendwie das Gefühl, das wird heute nix. Okay, wir sind alle gerade down. Scheiße.
Such sad eyes, child.
Hm. Keine Ahnung.
Reunite you with your parents.
Shut up! I'm gonna take you down if it's the very last thing I do!
That's right. Loathe me. Every step brings you closer to being me.
You're wrong! You're wrong! I'm nothing like you!
What foolishness.
Thank you.
In a bind?
You may be strong, but I'll never back down. You'll pay for that.
I'll bring you back from death to this.
Sorry, but this fight ends here.
Now, Asuna!
30k Damage. 168 Treffer. 40k Damage. Ja. Aber das stimmt einfach nicht.
I owe you one.
I can carve through armor!
What's she doing now?
She's infusing her beast with more power.
Get ready! This one's mine! In here!
Es macht einfach keinen Schaden.
Thank you. Not on my watch!
Can you take it?
Ignite!
Get toasty!
Scheiße, wir sind schon wieder alle halb down, ha?
Slaves.
Okay, nicht mal halb down, wir sind fast alle down.
This should do it.
Here's a healing arc!
They're attacking separately.
I can't land a hit on her!
Keep an eye on her, and Take out the monster first.
She's no stranger to astral arts.
I can take care of that.
Yeah, take it away.
I'll be saving this one.
Far enough.
Here, let me help. Lightning orb!
You. Try harder.
Light after dance in the wind!
Right.
Air thrust!
Move away.
Try
Try harder.
Reload! Here, let me help. First aid! Art
You
shield!
will suffer.
Glacial spear! Pierce evil! Lightning blazer!
Mirage.
Thunderblade! Water, hear my call!
Raining slash.
Red!
Blow away.
Burning!
That looks bad.
Wits about you people.
Tempest blast!
Heal. You picked the wrong
Here's a
fight.
healing art!
No further.
Thunderblade! First aid!
Blow away.
Shield!
The winds of
Fuck, ich hab's schon wieder nicht. Ich hab's schon wieder nicht. Ich hab überhaupt...
I'm a sitting duck.
Ach du Scheiße.
That's the trick up her sleeve.
Your astral arts aren't so special. And now, they're mine! I'll bring you back from death. This one's mine! I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
Run.
Resonate with the Forgive me.
Stay away from my friend.
Armor won't save you. Raining slash.
Tempest blast!
Oh Mann, hey.
Raining slash.
Supernova!
Warum macht es nicht?
Cascade! Immob!
Ride for me.
Okay, das läuft gerade nicht so gut. Das ist schlecht. Ja, kann ich da noch raus? Kann ich meine... Das klingt ja jetzt irgendwie dumm, ha? Okay. Ich kann halt da raus porten, ne?
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
So. Achso. Okay. Ah. So, Kristallfäustlinge. Du hast das Ding eh schon. So. Ah. Waffensammler. Na schön, und? Verteidigung, ha? So. Angriff. Ah, es geht sich eh nicht aus. Ja. Mach halt. So, Rini. Du? Eigentlich wurscht, oder? Scheiß auf dich.
Have you guys checked your equipment lately?
Nicht. Können wir was aufwerten? Meines, ha? Macht das einen Unterschied? Ich meine, ja, halt. Ich brauche weniger Steine, ist mir schon klar, aber. Okay, wir haben so viel davon, ha? Aha. Ah. Aha, die könnte ich auch. Aha, okay. So, pass auf, ich will. Ja, lass die Rang 1 Dinger mal irgendwie wegmachen. Werden wir vermutlich nie brauchen. Wir haben eh so viel davon. Das habe ich, glaube ich, nämlich eh noch nie benutzt, wirklich, ne? Okay, und Erm auch noch. Hm. Ich habe da keine Ahnung, ey. Es schaut irgendwie... Lähmung annullieren und Verteidigung plus 20, aber... Es wäre geil, wenn ich das irgendwo reinmachen könnte, sonst noch, ha? Und eigentlich... Na gut, keine Ahnung. So, achso. So, naja, Gasthaus, ja. So, was kaufen wir uns alles, ha? Machen wir irgendwie 10 davon. Und volle Dinger davon. Kein Plan. Ja, und davon werden halt... Ja, lass voll machen. Ne, wir brauchen See. Okay, und mehr, glaube ich, können wir nicht machen momentan.
Did we really?
So, wir können noch... Irgendwas können wir uns kochen. Was kochen wir uns, ha? Elementarverteidigung hoch, ha? Ja, 5%. Das ist ja fast noch das Currying wir am besten, ha? Acht Minuten.
Hell yeah! There's no way you.
Ja, ich weiß nicht, ob es überhaupt so lange hält, bis wir wieder dort sind. Ich weiß gar nicht jetzt, wie wir zurückkommen. So. Also. Wir müssen... Ah. Ja. Ja, wo kann ich ihn porten? Ha? Ich kann ja da... Ah, oder? Na, ich kann ja da nicht herporten. Jo, wie... Ja. Ja. Wie porte ich denn daher, ha? Gar nicht. Ja, ist das euer Ernst?
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
Aha, aha. Ah. Ja, ich meine, war mir schon klar, dass es irgendwie geht, aber ja, wir hätten wenigstens schon am Meer
Stay
irgendwie.
sharp. We're
Na,
going in.
Quatsch. Okay, aber ist ja wurscht. So. Ja, kann ich die irgendwie skippen?
Discourteous, aren't you?
Water, hear my call. Bring him down. Here's the eagle. Water, hear my call.
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Air thrust.
Oh Männer, ey, wir verscheißen da unnötig
Looks like
Zeit.
we got them all.
Ja, ich komme da nicht vorbei.
Retreat if you know what's good for you.
Take down their defenses. Thanks. Its armor's too strong. Be my guest. Lightning slash.
Our work is done here. Let's move.
I'm right behind you, Shion.
Ist 3 richtig oder 4, ha? Okay. 3 ist richtig, ja. Naja. Okay, lass da nochmal speichern. Dann... Rini voll machen. Scheiß auf mich. Ja. Haben wir irgendwie was, hey, was irgendwie overpowered wäre, ha? Ich habe das da auch immer noch nicht gecheckt, ja? Wir haben da dieses flammende Schneider, ja, das Explosive. Das machen wir andauernd in den Inferno-Strom. Ich weiß nicht, wie ich die anderen irgendwie mache. Echt kacke. Ja, es ist eh wurscht, das bringt eh alles nix. So. Den machen wir mal irgendwie aus. Diese ganzen Low-Level-Dinger, ha? Keine Ahnung. Ja, komm, ha? Feuerdinger und die sind sowieso Level 1. Keine Ahnung, ob das gerade was bringt, was ich mache. Vergiften können, unnötig. Ja, ich weiß nicht, hey. Ich könnte halt, ja, ich könnte mir so ein ein paar gönnen, aber vielleicht wäre das besser auf den beiden da irgendwie mal, ha? Dass die mehr aushalten. Ja, er wird halt... Resistenz? Ja, komm.
We've only one last place to look.
Uhr 18 in der Früh ist grad. So,
Straight ahead.
also,
Almeidrea.
unser Buff ist auch noch da.
There she is! Almeidrea!
Ja, kann ich...
But all alone?
Ich kann es nicht
Watch
skippen.
yourselves.
Warum?
She's probably planning something.
Komm, Menno, komm.
I was getting rather tired of waiting around. Oh my, and I see you came along as well, Danon Witch.
Almeidrea.
What's this? I thought you couldn't stand the sight of me. Go on, little one. Show me the full force of that hatred of yours.
Ja, komm.
Otherwise, run and hide like the rat you are.
That's enough! How can you smile while causing pain to so many others?
That is the way of those who possess great power.
Oh, was habe ich gedrückt? Oh, nice, okay. Tap.
The very... Such sad eyes, child. Let me
Also.
reunite you with
Auch ein neues.
I'm gonna take you down if it's the very last thing I do.
That's right.
60 Schaden.
Every step brings you closer to being me.
You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm nothing like you. Take this. Tempest world.
Armor won't save you!
Not today!
Not in your dreams. Stay away. Radiant light. Here. Here's the foolishness. I'm only getting started.
Was ist denn er eigentlich? Okay, er ist irgendwie neutral. Na gut, ist eh egal, ha? Was wir dann casten.
Here I go. It's over. Watch and
foolishness.
No further! Sorry, but this fight ends here!
Mach weiter. Damage.
Now, Asuna!
Schau, die Zahl stimmt aber nicht mit seinem HP überein, ha? Ich weiß nicht genau, wieso das... Da, fast 50k Damage. Schau, er hat 180k HP am Anfang, ja?
What's she doing now?
She's infusing her beast with more power.
Get ready. Here, let me help.
Thank you, I owe you one.
Brimming with hatred.
Jawohl.
Here's evil.
Läuft ja gerade irgendwie besser, ha?
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished.
Here, let me help.
They're attacking separately.
I can't land a hit on her.
Keep an eye on her. And take out the monster first.
Aua.
She's no stranger to astral arts.
I can take care of that.
Yeah. Take it away.
Fuck.
Stay away from my friend.
So, revive him.
Where are you going?
Blow away.
So, ich...
Wits about you, people!
Raging storm!
Eat dirt.
I'll never forgive you.
Okay, jetzt haben wir es geschafft, endlich mal.
I'll take you down.
Jawohl. Damage go.
You don't scare me.
Anything in armor is
Go for it, Rinwell.
Hit her now.
Raining slash.
Now you see what I can do.
Raining slash. Blow away. Raining slash.
Soaring
Rushing fury. Raining slash. Blow away. Raining slash.
can't get out of this.
Blow away. Raining slash.
Fuck.
If it's in the sky, it's mine. Glacial spear.
You'll pay for that.
Where are you going?
No incantation ruin.
Her master core!
Not while I'm around, she isn't.
The winds of judgment blow your way!
Ja, ich hatte es leider nicht ready gerade. Na komm. Ausweichen, ihr Noobs. Ausweichen.
I can't heal you forever. Hear me. I still got the
Kann man den scheiß Drachen mal killen? Geht down, Alter.
End you.
Okay.
Energy. Full throttle.
Drache down. Oh, hallo. Ja.
You murdered my mother and father,
Hör auf,
but
du
I'm not
Mongo.
like you.
Oh, Menno.
Rinwell.
Even now, I hate you. But here I am, unable to let go.
G-
Honestly, even if I took my hatred out on you here and now, it wouldn't make me feel any better in the long run. I realize that now.
Ja, wir sind noch nicht fertig,
I
oder?
won't kill you. I'll take you in and make damn sure justice is served the right way.
You would dare mock me with your foolish, useless pity? A Danon, nothing more than a mere slave. I won't allow you to...
It's not about what you think. Or being Danon or Renan. Because you'll atone for the crimes you committed. And that's all.
Okay. Noch was Größeres? Oh, er ist schon wieder.
It's
It's that swordsman again.
Also, wer ist das, ha? Du weißt es.
Oh, Lord Volron, what brings you here? No, forgive me. I've forgotten myself. Please allow me to make it up to you, my lord.
Silence now, wretched snake. Does it hurt? It should. That pain is proof you're still alive. Enjoy it.
Oh. Und dabei hatte sie noch mindestens 100.000 HP, oder?
Volron. Years ago, the Lord of Ganeth Haros met a sudden death. His successor was a man by that very name, Volron.
And like a restless lover, I've come back for more.
Oh, schöne Haare, ha?
Stop right there!
Jo, willst du wieder auf die Fresse bekommen, Junge? Keine Chance gegen ihn.
Cut me down. What?
Ich wusste es. Komm, mach weg. Na los, ich will endlich blonde Haare. Ja, wir sind sicher auch einen von denen, ich schwör's. Wir sind eigentlich der Überlord, aber...
Wait, what just happened to him? Alvin! Say something!
Ja. Ist natürlich geil, dass du einfach nur da stehst und nichts machst, ha?
Let go of me! Let me go!
Shion!
Alvin!
Oh. Ein blaues Schwertchen. Schön. Und weg. Rip.
Come and find me, if you truly are the sovereign.
Herrscher, ha? Ja, was ist denn das jetzt, hey? Wo kommt denn das Ding daher? Das war zum Beispiel eine echt coole Cutscene, ja? Das stört mich nicht, sowas. Das war echt cool. Also. Renerischer Mitarbeiter. Renerischer Labormitarbeiter. Testsubjekt 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 7, 3. Heute, okay. Es ist, keine Ahnung, fast 5 Uhr in der Früh, ja? Die Geisterbeschwörungszeremonie beginnt in Kürze. Bleibe bis dahin ruhig und warte auf weitere Anweisungen. Jawohl. Renerischer Labormitarbeiter. Also, was sind wir, ha? Bastardos ein Reagenzglas.
I'll be free from this hell. I can finally go home. I doubt I'll ever see this place again.
Astralenergie aufladen fast abgeschlossen. Ausgabe stabil. Stehe bereit.
Might as well walk the block once more for old time's sake.
Oha. Das schaut echt futuristic aus, oder? Renerscher Labormitarbeiter. Die Jungfer behält die Dinge unter Kontrolle. Achte du einfach darauf, während der Zeremonie nicht die Konzentration zu verlieren. Wenn du deine Heimat je wiedersehen willst, musst du hier gute Arbeit leisten. Testsubjekt 1273. Und wenn nicht, kriegst du eine Maske. Und dein Gedächtnis wird gelöscht. Ich war ehrlich gesagt ziemlich nervös. Wenn es mit dir nicht geklappt hätte, wer weiß, was wir getan hätten. Das ist schließlich das erste Mal, dass wir einen Herrscher und eine Jungfer für die Zeremonie beisammen haben. Aber zu sehen, wie du es bisher geschafft hast, hat meine Ängste verstummen lassen. Okay, also ich sage, ich bin irgendwie der Auserwählte gewesen oder so, ha? So, was ist mit dir, Digga? Könnt ihr drin auch nicht selbst drauf kommen, wo ihr hin müsst? Oder bist du so blöd, dass du dich an so einem kleinen Ort wie hier verirrst? Du hast eine Aufgabe zu erledigen, also los, kehre auf deine Position zurück. Jawohl, Digga. Papi ist in letzter Zeit nicht mehr nach Hause gekommen, also wollte ich ihn besuchen. Aber sie lässt mich nicht weiter vor, das ist nicht fair. Ich hoffe, er ist mit der Arbeit bald fertig, damit ich ihn sehen kann. Okay. Ihr kranken Bastardos, ha, was macht sie da? Ach, du bist es. Oder sollte ich sagen, Herrscher. Du verstehst nicht, wie viel Zeit und Mühe wir investieren, um dich als unseren einzigen Erfolg zu erzeugen. Wir können nicht riskieren, dass du in dieser Phase durch eine Verletzung ausfällst. Kann mich mal irgendwer aufklären, ha? Du vielleicht? Ich weiß nicht, wer auf die Idee kam, dich Herrscher zu nennen. Letztendlich bist du nicht mehr als ein Testsubjekt. Dein einziger Wert liegt in deiner körperlichen Eignung für die anstehenden Aufgaben. Deine Gedanken und Gefühle sind irrelevant. Na dann, wenn du das sagst. Wer bist du? Dänisches Testsubjekt als unser Herrscher, ha? Ich erwarte, dass du deine Funktion erfüllst, ohne auseinanderzufallen wie die anderen, klar? Das hört sich aber nicht gut an. Was muss ich denn machen bei euch, ha? Hallo, Minimi. Ist das Testsubjekt? Wow, er sieht genauso aus wie wir. Äußerlich vielleicht. Im Inneren ist er genauso unzivilisiert wie der Rest von ihnen. Du hast hoffentlich meine Warnung vorher nicht vergessen. Nein, Testsubjekt keinesfalls anfassen, richtig? Ja, ja. Ich will auch nicht.
Nobody wants to explain anything to me. They just threaten and harass me instead. What does everyone think I am? Some sort of talking pet? They're the ones that dragged me all the way up here in the first place. Bastards. I shouldn't have bothered coming out. Might as well head back to my room.
Wer bist du, ha? Es ist Zeit, Alfen. Es ist also endlich soweit, ha? Ja, wir müssen unsere Bekleidung anlegen und uns dann am Übertragungsgerät treffen. Wenn das alles vorbei ist, kannst du endlich nach Hause zurückkehren. Darauf hoffe ich. Tut mir leid, dass ich dich in all das hineingezogen habe. Es ist nicht deine Schuld. Tun wir einfach, was wir tun müssen und bringen wir es hinter uns. Was auch immer, ha? Aber es wird gerade ein bisschen spannend. Ich wollte nur zurück.
To Dana. To my home.
Alphen.
Naori.
Naori. Das hört sich nicht gut an. Das sieht nicht gut aus, ha? Oh, das schaut auch nicht gut aus.
Alphen.
Was passiert?
Live for me.
Oh, fuck. Nein.
Naori. No!
Warum macht sie sowas?
Wait, please. Wait,
Oh, wir sind gestrandet, ha? Wie auch immer das geht.
What was that?
I don't know.
That... How long ago was that?
Auch das weiß ich nicht.
That's right. Shion.
Okay, mach mal ein bisschen langsam halt. Achso, ja.
That's what pain felt like.
Schau, du fühlst dir das. Ist doch gut, oder?
So much for it all being a bad dream. Where am I? Where is everyone?
Keine Ahnung. Ertrunken vielleicht? Ja. Das funktioniert dann wohl auch nicht mehr, ha? Das war's dann mit unserem guten Ruf.
I need to find them. Better start looking.
Zeit wird's, ha? Aber ganz langsam, ha? Na gut. Ja. Danke für die Info. Meisterkern des Windes. Okay. 5500 XP. Ja, hör mal auf jetzt zum Herumstöhnen. Das kann sich ja keiner anhören. Okay. Keine Ahnung, wo wir sind. Wir haben kein Schwert mehr, wir haben keine Party-Member. Wir sind nicht mehr unverwundbar. Oder unschmerzbar. Unverwundbar waren wir ja nie. Aber unschmerzbar. Wir sind eigentlich ziemlich am Arsch.
Shion. Hi.
Oh Gott.
Damn it.
Na super. Moospanzer. Ja, jetzt kann ich da zwei. Nix habe ich mehr, ha?
You picked the wrong fight.
Na bumm, das macht ja mal gar nichts.
Raining slash. Flew away.
Aber wenigstens das haben wir noch.
Flew away.
Oh, oh.
Flew away. Raining slash. Flew away. Try harder. Hold nothing back.
Oh.
Orochi's fury. Raining slash.
Na Genau, kann ich da irgendwas machen? Ich drück, aber es geht nichts. Okay, wir können gar nichts mehr, ha? Na gut, dann back to good old Spam. Dass er einfach keinen Schaden macht. Egal was ich... Das ist das Einzige, was irgendwie Schaden macht, dieses Spell. Also was mache ich? Entweder ich mache irgendwas falsch oder keine Ahnung. Jawohl. Ich hab's auch alleine drauf. So halbwegs. Na komm, so oft haben die uns nicht getroffen, ha?
Alvin?
Oh, Rini.
What happened just now? Normally you'd be able to take that thing with your eyes closed.
Thank goodness you're alive. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Schau ich so aus?
I'm just glad we found you in one piece. You were the only one still missing. There's a village back the way we came from, Thistleim. Kisara and La are already there.
Frinwell, where are we?
Ganeth Harros, Volron's realm. Remember?
Ushered by the waves straight to the enemy stronghold. A rare stroke of luck, it would seem.
Luck?
If Volron's here, that means Shion's close too, right?
Ja.
Shion? Oh. Right.
Hast du vergessen, gell?
Are you sure you're feeling okay? You seem a little off.
War keiner von euch wegen dem scheiß Schwert, ha?
He's probably just exhausted. Let's save the catching up for when we're back at the village.
Oh, na schau, was haben wir da? Rinbell. Rächer in Rente. Ja, maximale AL. Oh, heilige Lanze. Oh, das hört sich doch gut an, oder? So, was ist das? Erweiterte Ausweichentfernung. Erhöhter Schaden, das kostet 2000. Naja.
You sense one of your pals, Hoodle?
Ehrlich, da gibt's auch irgendwo Hudels. Naja. Wo mag er sein, ha? Wo ist Mr. Hoodles? Ich sehe ihn nicht. Naja. Egal.
No choice.
Kann sie das eigentlich, ja? Komm. Wenn wir noch mal was Besseres haben, oder? Das haben wir, glaube ich, gar nicht gemacht im Kampf, gell? Scheiße, ja, das hätten wir eigentlich brauchen können. Ja, komm, ey, Level 1, Scheiß. Jawohl, heilige Lanze und hier Luftstoß. Haben wir noch irgendwas? Scheiße, urwenig, ha? Naja, ist ja wurscht. Irgendwie kann man es noch weiter aufladen.
Illuminate the dark!
An astral arc?
That's my cue!
Oha.
Shut him down.
Everyone, get back! It's too dangerous! Air thrust! Fire just has been forced in this place! I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar!
Benediction light.
Okay. Ganz nett.
Confiscated!
Raining slash! Take this! Eat dirt!
Raging storm! More where that came from!
I'm ready! Raining slash!
Small, but a victory nonetheless.
We have a long way yet to go.
Okay, irgendwo da ist er, oder? Wo ist er, ha? Da sitzt er.
Speaking of Thistleum, it's populated by Danans, but they're not under the rule of any lord. Pretty refreshing, huh? The whole town was built by Danan defectors.
Ja, ja.
This area's teeming with stray Zoogles, though, so heaven only knows how the ordeal seems to have left them understandably on edge. Kisara and La are back there right now trying to convince them of...
Jo.
Say, Elfin, it looks like you got your face back then.
Yeah.
And your sense of pain, too, it would seem. Any connection?
Really? Oh, but that means...
Probably.
I wonder if Alfin's going to be okay.
For now, I believe we should hold off on speculation and simply keep an eye on him.
Right.
Eule Nummer 24.
You're saying we should check the Owl Forest?
Nein.
Alfin! Boy, am I glad to see you safe.
Well, did you manage to convince them we're not in league with any lord?
Yeah, eventually.
When the ship sank, I thought we were done for. Guess the world just couldn't keep us apart.
Yeah. And now we can finally go rescue Shion.
There's something I need to tell you guys first.
Oha, jetzt kommt's.
I got my memory back.
Nice, GZ. So, ultra geil Cutscene. Nein, doch, ja. Erzähl. Na los.
So, what did you remember? Are you able to tell us now?
Give the man some space, Law.
I remember being up on Lenegus.
Go on.
I was abducted from Dana. I was told if I ever wanted to return home, I'd have to cooperate. So that's what I did. Next thing I knew, they had made me into the Sovereign.
You mean to say you won the crown contest? As a Danon?
No. They kept me locked in a strange facility. They experimented on me, like I was nothing more than an animal. There were others, but only I survived. Of course, I wasn't really a king. The reality was that they treated me worse even than the lowest slave. The only reason I survived was because my body was able to withstand the Sovereign's power that they placed inside me.
The crest that appeared behind you on Almeidrea's ship must have undoubtedly been that of the Sovereign. It all makes sense now. Your affinity with the blazing sword, the strange powers you possess, they were all because you were the Sovereign.
Okay, but why would the Renans go out of their way to give you all that power? Just what exactly does being the Sovereign entail?
They said it was for something called the spirit channeling ceremony. They taught me how to harness my power for when the big day came. As for what the ceremony was actually for, unfortunately, I never found out.
So if what you're saying about being on Lenegis is true, then maybe you really did meet Shion. After all, you said you recognized her from somewhere, right?
But Shion said she'd never seen him before. How do you explain that?
I was wrong. It wasn't Shion I knew from Lenegis. It was Naori. She was a Renan maiden they paired me with during the spirit channeling ceremony. She's the woman I kept seeing in my dreams.
A maiden? What?
Wait, so this Naori figure just happens to be the double of Shion? Bit coincidental, isn't it?
Naja, sie hatte keine rosa Haare.
Naori's family name was Imeris.
Imeris? As in Shion Imeris?
Ach du
So they're
Scheiße.
distant relatives or something? Wait, or are they sisters?
Your guess is as good as mine. All I know is it was Naori. She's the one who put the mask on me.
The mask? But why?
To keep my soul from devouring itself over the guilt. After what I did on Lenegis. Over the lives I took.
Lives? You mean you staged a rebellion?
Perhaps it was a part of this spirit channeling ceremony?
I don't know. Whatever it was that the spirit channeling ceremony was supposed to achieve, it didn't turn out as planned.
Offenbar.
I lost consciousness halfway through. By the time I came to, Lenegis was a sea of flames. I opened my eyes to see Naori there, weeping. I shudder to think of how many deaths I caused that day. Certainly more than any of these lords can claim, I'm sure.
Ja, das kannst du nicht
You
wissen,
really
ha?
expect us to believe this? First the Sovereign, then Lenegis? You couldn't possibly have done all that.
Wer weiß?
I wonder. In ancient scripture, there is tell of a terrible calamity that befell Lenegis, nearly destroying it. The restoration took years and required the work of countless laborers.
By ancient, you mean...
It predates the crown contest, to a time before even the first Renan invasion of Dana. More than 300 years ago.
300? But that'd make Alphen...
Sag's nicht.
That's right. I'm pretty much an antique of a human being.
Schön für dich.
Deep down, maybe I already knew.
Alphen...
Some hero, huh? Cooperating with the same villains who snatched me from my home, committing mass slaughter, only for it to slip my mind. Then when I finally remember, turns out I'm so old I've got scripture written about me. So much for standing up to injustice. I've probably got more blood on my hands than all the lords combined!
Alphen, stop! Honestly, I'm not going to pretend to understand what all this means. But what I do know is that right now, you're just reacting to the shock.
Kisara.
Listen, what you really need is time. Time to process things and get your head straight. Truth be told, I think that probably goes for all of us.
What about Shion? We can't just...
I'm worried about Shion too, Law. But it's clear that Alphen's in no fit state to fight. This is Volron, remember? Even at full capacity, it's practically a suicide mission. We stay put in the village till we're ready. Okay, everyone?
Okay. Sagt keiner, was ich kein Schwert mehr
Take
habe?
some time to think things through, okay? But remember, we're all here for you if you need us. No matter how dark things might seem, you're not alone, Alphen.
Thank you.
Wollte ich auch gerade sagen.
It's
Dankeschön.
fine. All right, everyone. Let's break for now.
Ich glaube, ich bin komplett unten durch, ha? Ich glaube, sie scheißen auf mich, so richtig. Ja.
Do I even have the right to fight? Do I have the right to go to Shion's rescue? What do the others think?
I don't know. Wieso hält unser Essensbuff so lange, ha? Ist aber auch ein bisschen komisch, oder? Da stand auch nur was von 8 Minuten. Wir spielen doch schon ein bisschen mehr als 8 Minuten. Ich meine, mindestens 8,5 Minuten. Na, servus, ha? Na gut, jetzt quatschen wir wieder mit allen. Ewig lange Cutscenes. Ich musste viel Tod um mich herum überleben, um dahin zu gelangen, wo ich jetzt bin. Sowohl als Sklave als auch auf dem Weg hierher. Jetzt will ich nur noch den Rest meiner Tage in Ruhe und Frieden leben. Also bitte macht keinen Ärger, während ihr hier seid. Kann ich nicht versprechen, aber ich werde mich bemühen.
You're certainly full of surprises, aren't you?
Trust me, it's not intentional.
Sorry, that was insensitive of me. Though, there's still an awful lot I wish I could understand. Every new piece of information seems only to yield further mysteries. The truth feels just as elusive as when we first started. I am well aware of where you got your powers. But why, as a Danon, do you bear the same crest as the current Renin sovereign? More to the point, why choose a Danon for their sovereign in the first place? And then there is the Maiden, a figure so powerful, she's playing yin to the sovereign's yang in esoteric ceremonies. And yet, I've never even heard of her. Then again, this all occurred 300 years ago. What if the term sovereign doesn't even hold the same meaning as it did back then? Listen, I may be a traitor among my people, but I am still Renin, born and raised. I learned the same history, listened rapt to the same tales. And yet now I feel like there was little truth to any of it.
Speaking of which, there's something else that I remember from the spirit channeling ceremony. It used the Renis Alma.
You're certain?
Yes, or at least that's what they called it. Only you would know if it was one and the same.
Oh, I have never laid eyes on the real artifact myself. And you never participated in a crown contest. You're not even Renin. Many mysteries lay buried in these 3 centuries past.
3 centuries is more than several lifetimes. Was I really out that long?
Well, I'm only estimating based on historical record. But all the facts would seem to point that way.
Who the hell am I?
If I may be frank, we have even bigger fish to fry than that. By comparison, the far more important question at hand is, just what does it all mean?
Frank, huh?
Sometimes we need a little help in addressing the truth behind our pain. Not to compete over lives lost, but I suspect your count is still somewhat beneath mine.
Thanks for lending me an ear. And sorry for being a bother.
Please, no thanks are necessary. The quicker you get back on your feet, the sooner we can all get back out there.
Na gut.
What do you see out there?
Zeugles. Strays by the looks of it. We unwittingly disturbed their territory on our way here, and now they're looking pretty riled up.
Sieht rumhauen.
Feel like you're making headway? You know, sorting through things?
All I know is Shion needs our help. As for what happens after that...
Say, how did you get back down here from Lenegis anyway?
I came down in a Renan starship. I have Naori to thank for that.
What happened to her? Did she come with you?
She stayed behind. Just as I wanted to get back to Dana and my people, Naori's place was with her fellow Renans, performing her duties as the maiden. Neither of us asked for the power or roles we were given. I suppose we felt a kinship with each other in that sense. But even then...
Wait, so you mean it wasn't just Danans like you that Lenegis abducted? You're saying they forced Naori, one of their own, to serve against her will as well?
Even within Renan society itself, there exists a hierarchy. I don't think she was ever given the option to refuse. Despite that, she did everything she possibly could to serve her people. The very same ones I ended up slaughtering. And even after that, she still helped me escape back to Dana. She stayed behind on Lenegis to help any of her people who survived. I owe her more than words can express. A debt left to fester for what? 300 years? How do I even begin to make up for something like that?
In all honesty, you don't. You can't atone for what's happened in the past. I don't think anyone can. Be it several centuries ago, or just yesterday.
What are you saying? That I might as well give up?
I'm saying you don't have to be a white knight in shining armor. Back after my brother had passed away, it was you who told me that his dream lived on inside me. And you did the same for him, for Dohalim, when he was ready to give up too. You were there for both of us. You know what I heard? I heard you telling me to keep fighting, to strive no matter what.
And I was out of line. I had no right to ask that of you.
No, you're wrong. Those words were exactly what I needed to hear at the time. In fact, I would go as far as to say that I wouldn't even be here had I not heard them. Left to my own devices, who knows when I would have been able to pick myself up. Besides, it's not like killing all those people was a choice that you made of your own free will, right? The truly terrible ones are the people who abducted you. The ones who forced you to wield
Genau,
that
die
power.
waren's.
They're the ones you should be blaming.
Die sind schuld. Ich kann nichts
Not only
dafür.
that, but that guilt you feel inside, that's all the proof you need to know you're a good person, Alphen. Do you understand? If I'm still allowed to fight and keep on living, then damn it, Alphen, so the hell are you. But if you're still not convinced, then ask yourself this. What is it that you've really been fighting for this whole time? Go on, ask yourself.
What I've been fighting for, huh?
So. Oh, da hinten leuchtet was. Rini! Bitte laber nicht zu viel.
I thought it was the worrying thinking about Shion and the pain bringing you down. I didn't realize you were lonely too.
I guess all of us are. In one way or another.
Yeah, but you've only just found out. I mean, no, not found out.
Ja, ich bin auch alleine, aber ich habe ja euch Zuschauer,
To
ha?
tell you the truth, I was actually beginning to forget I'd even lost my memory in the first place. Now that it's returned, well, you can see what I'm like. It's strange. When I think about Lenegis, it still feels like it was only a year or two ago that I was there. But then I realized what feels like years was actually centuries ago.
What about your hometown? Do you know if it's still there?
I doubt it. When the Renans invaded, the world as I knew it changed overnight. Even if the place is still there physically, I expect the people will be long gone. Certainly everyone I knew, at least. My family, my friends.
Yeah, I know how that feels. I have no home to return to either. No family waiting for me. I used to curse my bad luck that I'd ever been born a mage in the first place. Otherwise, if I hadn't, maybe my mother and father would still be alive today. Although if that had been the case, I guess I'd probably still be just another slave with no means to resist. I'd never have met up with you guys, that's for sure.
Have you learned to embrace your powers yet?
Nuh-uh. I resent them a little less than before, though. They've kept me alive this long, right? I try not to think about it too much. After all, who can predict what the future will hold? I guess what I'm trying to say is that with everything that's happened in your past, finding out you're the sovereign and all, it's no wonder you're conflicted. Heck, honestly, I think anyone would be.
Rinwell.
First it was Shion, then it was me, and now it's you. All of us suffering, just because of some power we never even asked for.
Yeah. All this time you were suffering right in front of me, and I never even knew. I feel like I finally understand what you and Shion were going through.
You couldn't have known. Still, if you want to make it up to her, poor Shion must be lonely.
Yeah, you're right.
Ja, ja. 40 Stunden Cutscenes, ne? Ich sag's ja nur. Angeblich. Also nicht wahrscheinlich reine Cutscenes, aber halt mit einfach das ganze Blabla. 40 Stunden. Das ist länger als manche Spiele dauern.
Are we gonna go rescue Shion or what?
Ja.
What's gotten into you, man?
Do I even have any right to...
If you were in my place, you'd say, to hell with all that.
Sounds like me. Pretending I have...
Come on, man. Look, I get it. You finally... You're in shock, and who wouldn't be? Worse still, you blame yourself for... But here's the thing. None of...
I guess.
It's about Naori. Look, you're still here, aren't you? Who's to... Fine, I've said my piece.
My power consumed me once already. I can't guarantee anyone's safety.
So you think we might get burned up because of your sovereign powers? I can think of work. Come on, fight this. What happened to the guy who talked to me after my dad died? The one who cared enough. That's the guy I was proud to follow.
Law.
No, I'm serious. What's gotten into you, man? Just give me the word and I'll beat some sense. Now, I'm gonna ask you this once and only once. Are you... What's it gonna be?
What do you think? Of course.
So then quit griping and do...
Listen.
Alphen.
It's exactly like you said. But there's still so much that
He could be a pain sometimes.
Yeah. Just give me a little more time.
Hey, don't even mention it.
Okay.
Back to the inn, I guess.
Wait. Falscher Weg. Oder hält dieser Buff, also unser Kochen, geht das nur irgendwie im Kampf weg? Ja, das könnte irgendwie sein.
Alphen! There you are!
What is it?
Zoogles, that's what! They're almost at the village gates!
Any closer and they'll be house hunting. I knew we shouldn't have cut through their territory.
Ja, ja.
That sounds bad.
Can you fight? No shame in bowing out if you're not up for it.
Kisara's right. You don't want to go overdoing it.
I'm up for it.
Really?
Nö,
You ready?
nö.
As ready as I'll ever be. It's now or never, right?
Alvin, right. Great to have you back. Now let's do this.
Ja, ja. Was hast du da? Inferno-Schlag. Alle eins, oh Scheiße. 40 Elementarangriff. Oh, erhöhter kritischer, ja. Wunderbar.
Look sharp, people. If we don't act fast, they're going to get into the village.
Right.
Also,
We need to hurry.
müssen wir da rein, oder was? Ach so, nee, das ist das Gasthaus. Na gut, aber... Haben wir was Neues? Ja. Und natürlich auch irgendwelche Materialien, die wir nicht haben, ist eh klar. Oh, Menno. Ja. Ich glaube irgendwie, ich gehe back zu meinem Lichtschwert, ha? Zeig mal her. Oder mal was Geileres, ha? Na gut, was ist geiler als das, ha?
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
Ja, ehrlich. Oh, hallo. Ein Glücksdrang. Achso. Also, sieht irgendwer von euch Hoodles? Ich nicht. Hast du eine Rolle gesehen? Hast du eine Rolle gesehen? Ha? Keine Ahnung. Oh nein, oh nein.
Remember, if the pain's too much,
We've all got our own pain to deal with. I'm done letting others pick up my slack.
Here they come.
Oh Scheiße, wir müssen mal meinen Heiler halt, ne?
We can't let even a single one through.
There's a firm no-Zoogle policy.
Fine by me. Let's get to work then.
lightning raging cascade.
Eat that. Bet that shell's hiding something tasty.
Jo, warte, das geht aber mal gar nicht. Du, hau ab. So. Du switcht mit ihm.
Leave the insane to me. Yeah, and the pummeling to me. Take this.
This one's all mine. Its armor's too strong.
Then I'll split it open.
Be my guest.
Raining slash.
Blow away.
Heal.
I owe you one.
Sweet dreams.
Blow away. Raining slash. Take this. Elusive deity. I'll finish you here and now.
Blow away.
Elusive deity. Rotating driver.
Thunder field.
Blow away.
Dancing field. Air thrust. Photon blast. Now,
I'm on it. Light burst forth.
radiant genesis.
Jawohl. Geschafft. Na
Alvin,
komm.
you okay?
I'm fine. This pain thing really hurts, huh?
But hey, at least you're still alive.
It wouldn't be called pain if it was pleasant. It can be pretty useful, though. It's good motivation to improve and get stronger.
Guess I've got a lot of room to improve in that regard.
Anyway, I'm glad we could protect the village, especially after everything they've done for us.
Ja, was haben sie gemacht für uns?
Yeah.
You know, Thistleum kind of reminds me of home. The people here have hidden themselves away out of the fear of being found, always watching their backs. Though in the end, home was destroyed anyway.
Ja.
That won't happen here.
Oh? Is that a hint of fighting spirit I sense?
Yeah. I won't lie. Some of these memories will take a while to process. But I've learned something too. My rage, this fury I feel at our so-called rulers, it comes from having so much of myself stripped away from me back then. Friends, family, home. They took everything from me and left me with nothing but guilt. I was completely alone. At least that's what I thought. But not anymore. Since I awakened, I've met people who I care about. Friends who hold me up. Friends who make me feel like I'm worth something. And I won't lose that. Not ever again. I'll protect those bonds with everything I have. That's why I need to keep fighting.
Ich meine aber nicht euch da, gell?
But
So,
Shion
dass ihr es
comes
wisst.
first.
Ich meine, richtige Freunde.
Of course. First we rescue Shion, then we defeat Volron and liberate Dana. Everyone, will you fight with me?
Say the word and I'm there.
Certainly no objections.
Then it's agreed. Our next stop will be the capital, Pelegion. According to the villagers, there's a huge cliff separating Thistleum from the capital. Luckily for us, there's a path we can use to climb up.
Sounds like a plan. Let's go.
We don't know what lies ahead. We should prepare well before we venture forth.
Yeah, can't exactly fight at the top of your game when you're hungry.
Good point.
So, was hast du, ha?
Okay.
Ja, wissen wir. Großen Gefallen, ha?
Why?
Ich hätte schwören können, dass wir bereits alle Zeugen ausgelöscht haben, die ins Dorf gelangen wollten. Oh, ihr wart es. Versuchen gar nicht uns anzugreifen. Sie stehlen unsere Fische. Oh nein. Ja, diese Affen haben riesige Arme. Sie schlagen mit ihnen auf die Wasseroberfläche und erzeugen so massive Schockwellen. So betäuben sie die Fische, damit diese an die Oberfläche treiben und dort einfach weggeschnappt werden können. Gar nicht blöd, ha?
Damn it.
Irgendwie haben sie das in letzter Zeit gelernt und sie sind verdammt gut darin geworden. Weil es uns hungrig macht.
What?
Ja, ja.
Is that so?
Ihr seid die Einzigen, die das Zeug dazu haben.
Okay.
Great job.
Angel des Scheusale. Na sowas, ha?
I'll teach these small fry who's the apex predator of these waters. Just watch and see.
Let's not get ahead
Maravalid
of ourselves
vermisst,
now.
ha?
I guess we're having fish for dinner tonight.
Boah, da ist er. Jawohl. Na gut, was sagen Sie zu unserem Captain? Wo ist unser
By the way,
Captain?
how is Mahavar doing?
Uh,
Wait, Don't tell me we still haven't found him.
It's not like we haven't been looking. I've covered the whole length and breadth of the coast, but
All of the other crew members are accounted for, including us. But we weren't able to find Mahavar. He's still missing.
I see.
Perhaps he couldn't bring himself to abandon the ship.
You mean at the bottom of the ocean? Damn it.
Naja,
We don't know that it's
guter
sank.
Captain.
We all washed up on the same shore. If the ship went down, isn't it strange we haven't come across a single piece of debris?
Do you think he might still be alive somewhere out there?
I think stranger things have happened. Whether he's alive or otherwise, we've exhausted all the avenues available to us.
Fine. Thistlein was founded by Danans fleeing the tyranny of Renan lords, right? But when you first came, they must have known Dohalim was Renan. So why do you think they let us in?
they almost didn't. But it wasn't just Dohalim they were wary of. They didn't trust any of us.
Even the weird Danans just like them?
When you live life in constant fear of being pursued, it's only a matter of time before all outsiders start to seem a potential threat.
I suppose that makes sense. So how did you convince them to trust us?
You saw how destitute the village was. They needed food, badly. We hunted some Zeugles for them.
Of course, a little magic-assisted roast didn't hurt things.
Never underestimate a full stomach's ability to put a person at ease. It turns out a hearty meal can be a powerful weapon. Something's on your mind. You having second thoughts about rescuing Shion?
Of course not. Shion's our friend. Almeidrea was the one I hated. For as long as I can remember, she served as a symbol to me of everything Renan. But ever since getting to know Shion, I realized it doesn't make sense to group people together like that.
I see.
Besides, the situation with Almeidrea was something else entirely. I'd already decided I wasn't going to kill her, but when I saw her die right in front of me, a part of me thought it served her right, that she'd gotten what she deserved. But another part regretted that someone else had come along and killed her instead. Don't get me wrong. If I had the chance again, I still wouldn't kill her.
Who said it had to make sense?
Huh?
Rinwell, you've done nothing wrong. You've started to question the beliefs you've held all your life. It's only natural for you to feel disoriented. You didn't give in to the hatred you felt for Almeidrea. You made a choice not to kill her. As for what it means exactly, that might be worth
Sometimes.
or don't, if you don't want to. It's just an idea.
No, I think. And hey,
Ja, genug, oder? Genug. Schimmerfallwälder. Sind wir da richtig, ha? Ja.
you sense one of your pals, Hoodle?
Na gut, aber ganz ehrlich, ich glaube, das ist schon echt übertrieben spät irgendwie. Naja, 5:26 Uhr Real Life Time. Ja, Freunde, genug für heute, wirklich genug für heute. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Ich hoffe, es hat dir gefallen. Und ja, bis zum nächsten Mal.